Alright, let's see what we got here, boys. Revenant Achilles. Base cannon knee. Oh, that's pretty fucking cool. The belt. That belt is dope. The Happy Birthday bundle.
They put a hat on me. It's supposed to be a birthday or something. Happy birthday. Or should we say towards Smite as well. It's 5.4 right now. The Smite update show is back once again. First thing to say to you all, we're back to a regular broadcast. No experimentation this week. You'll see the usual balance section. So stop your fretting there, first of all. Other things to mention as well. The Smite Pro League is going to be kicking off on the 20th of March, exclusive on Mixer. Don't forget, we've also got the Smite Global Series already started up as well on multiple platforms for you to all watch Monday through Friday at 11 AM EST. That's American time for you. Europeans, you're looking at around 5 or 6 o'clock. And as well, we've also got the SES, the Smite Console Series, is beginning on Monday. It already happened this Monday, and it will continue to happen every Monday after that. But now, let's go on to the skins we're going to see this week, and we're going to start things off with Zenko Ratatoska. You've all been waiting for it, and here it is.
I have to go into the woods if I want to eat. Don't be afraid.
That's Zenko Ratatoska, and then after that, we've also got, well, if you do all the Ratatoskas, you get this one, Final Fusion Ratatoska. That's what he's going to look like, and we'll see him in-game right now.
With all the fox's power as one, nothing can defeat us.
After that, we're going to see another skin that was leaked a little bit earlier on in the week. Beaky Chibi Thoth is going to be available. I love that little snake on his head.
Look at it. Look how little it is.
Fan of my laugh.
He's adorable.
What? Not what you expected?
I'm playing Thoth. I'm
Cute and deadly indeed. Following Chibi Thoth, we've also got Pixel Beast Chronos. A little piggy in the background too. Let's have a listen in.
Hey,
wait, what's there,
I'm not
pigs?
cheating. I am just this awesome.
Still not stopped. Plenty more to go. Sylvan Sentinel
Cool
Ho Yi.
skin.
Ooh, that's a lot like
What
that
the
Gem one. That's a
fuck?
nice looking jewel
these
in that's
skins are
coming
good.
at us in this patch too.
There are many species that call this forest their home, and hence no one shall ever threaten it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. After that, Revenant Achilles F. won the Hot Wing competition, and he chose this.
Don't be so hasty. You'll be dead soon enough.
He didn't really win. I let him win because he was about to die. That's what happened there. And finally, but last but not least, AJ. Well, he did things and got us a Bass Cannon Neve skin. The EDM pack is almost complete.
Party people, let the music guide your life.
We'll go into game with all these skins a little bit later on. After we go on to the more important time of the show, where I get joined by Pompon as per usual, and also joining us is AJ for the balance section this week as well. How you doing, boys?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing all right.
So we're going to start things off with itemization this week. What's the main philosophy? What's the focus that's been going on? We've had some changes, but not too many. What's the aims here this week?
So as we've seen more and more people actually kind of get used to the
Ponpon's
builds
mic
that we're
is
having,
fucked up.
we've seen mage changes getting like the most things that have been happening to them. We released a whole bunch of new items that gave them a lot of utility, like Book of the Dead, Warlock or a Sash became Staff and became this very nice tanky item they got, but it gave them a bit too much of that utility. We toned it back, but now we want to bring back the offensive nature of these characters. We want to up their ability to do damage, so we're going to be buffing some offensive-oriented items for mages this patch, as well as a few nice quality of life changes for a few items, and a few outlier items that were a bit too good that we're bringing down.
Okay.
Mages lost this round of Tahuti passive. That was a lot of extra power. You know, we made a lot of adjustments, a lot of different mage items to offset that, but it seemed that the utility and the survivability mage items were outclassing the damaging mage items. So what we did here in this patch is we looked at a whole bunch of mage items that are specifically aggressive oriented, only damage, and we're going to add a little bit more magical power there just to make sure the balance between the true burst mages and the utility mages are nice and equal.
Well, let's start things off with one of those then. Doomob is going to be the very first one. Doomob increased magical power from 60 to 70. So just like you said, a very aggressive item.
Right.
Looking to buff it up a little bit more.
Also, this is going to help it compete with the stacking items. We've been taking a lot of pro feedback, and we even got a little bit of information here watching the console series and the global series. First taste of competitive Smite, which is great to watch and see the items players picking up. And mages are heavily opting into stacking items super early, so that makes a mage bridge item have a very hard time competing. So we want to make sure that you feel like there is a reasonable trade-off there, that you're going to sacrifice a little late-game power in getting Book of Thoth or Warlock Staff, and you can get the Doom Orb and go real aggressive real early.
Well, next on the list to look at today is going to be Countlet of Thebes as well. Going to be a small change here. We're actually going to be changing the stacks of this. Now gains 5 stacks for a God Killer assist. So that's just going to allow it to stack a little bit easier?
Yeah, so the big thing here is support players, when they opted into this, they're playing very much a support-oriented style where you kind of sit in lane and you get minion assists. But if you see a really cool opportunity, go get a kill or help your teammates get a kill, like maybe invade the red buff and actually secure a kill there, it was not worth it for you to do that because you weren't going to get any stacks on Countlet of Thebes, so you weren't going to get this thing going online. We should be rewarding players for finding those opportunities and executing on it, not punishing them for having to sit in lane and make sure this gets stacked.
Triggering.
This is a tricky item here. You know, there's a lot going on here. Sure. It's very necessary for supports in most cases. It has a pretty reasonable, pretty high cost, and then you have a relatively low power spike that you then have to build into. So there's a lot going on. It's an item we're keeping really close eyes on. We're talking to pros a lot about how it's going. There's still a lot more to consider with this one, but the key thing that we really wanted to focus on was just making sure the item felt fun to use. So its power level, I think there's still a lot of discussions to have there. How necessary it is, yeah, but the key is we don't want to discourage players from fighting. We don't want supports to really feel punished when they make good rotations.
Sure.
So with this change alone, we can focus really on that specific issue, make sure the item is getting used in a way that feels intuitive and fun, and then as we go forward, we'll be keeping close eyes on this power level here.
Well, we're going to continue with the buffs of items so far. Next up is Soul Reaver, another one of those items that you guys were talking about in terms of power spikes.
Right.
Decreased cost in this from 2,750 gold to 2,650, so 100 gold off there, but also an increase in magical power from this item, 120 to 130.
Yeah. This is a dangerous item. We got to be careful. It does a lot of damage, but just a slight shift here to make its cost a little more attractive and its power a little higher to make sure that if you do want to go reverse mage, you have that option.
Yeah, I'm building on Quang now, boys. Get for power as well as without Rod Tahuti's old passive. The 120 power previously was really high. Going to 130 means that you have just a little bit more oomph that you kind of lost when you change Rod Tahuti.
After Soul Reaver, it's Enchanted Ring. He's also going to get some love here as well. Increased magical power there from 30 to 45, so 15 more power here. Right. Same sort of lines.
This is the tier 2 ring. So as you build towards Shaman, Hastened, etc., that's what this one is.
Well,
so a lot of people might not know that one by name, but it was kind of a lackluster way to build. It really made you feel bad unless you could finish a ring in one go.
Right.
So now mages who want to optimize into that movement speed or mage ADC style, they'll feel a little better about actually just making progress towards their build instead of hoarding a whole bunch of
I'll be honest with you guys, I'm surprised this is all mage-based.
One of the ones that's going to be adjusted here as well. In terms of a buff for Telkines, coming down in gold from 2,800 gold to 2,700, so 100 gold reduction there. And increased passive bonus damage on basic attacks from 10 plus 5% of your magical power to 10 plus 8% of your magical power.
They're trying to buff Chronos and Freya right now.
Yes, and for Mage ADCs, that's a really big deal. When we release this item, we expect
they nerfed the fuck out of Freya.
Really nice augmentation to their
that's all they're trying to do
based off how they were building.
Yeah.
But when they were building, the items they were building were kind of low power. The choices they had there the passive bonus of 5% wasn't enough to justify building really into that path. So you often want just pure damage items instead of going for this kind of more AA-focused style. So we're bringing
I'm telling you, they fucked Freya, and Chronos is irrelevant, so they're trying to make them both relevant in terms of auto attacks instead of
ability damage. We'll be able to
mage damage.
That play style.
This scaling factor that we added to Telkine's Ring is very exciting, but it's also we have to be very careful with it.
How far you go.
So that's why you see a relatively small change here. I know like 5 to 8 is not something you'd necessarily expect in like Smite patch notes, but this update is calculated. We want to ease ourselves into it and not just let Soul Chronos Freya completely run over the battlefield too quickly. So we're going to make some incremental changes here.
Okay, so that's buffs to items this week. We're going to move on to some of the nerfs. We're going to start things off. For Blink, he's going to get a nerf this patch. Going up in cooldown, I should say, from 100 seconds to 120, so 20 extra seconds. Now 2 minutes for your Blinks.
Down in power, up in cooldown. So Blink is actually a really strong relic.
It is.
And we were doing some research, and we were finding out that actually Blink is statistically the strongest relic in the game.
Yep.
You have a very high chance of winning the game if you're using Blink effectively.
Yep.
Blink is really fun to use, but it's really strong. We know how strong mobility can be, especially something this fast. Sure, it's limited by the combat rule, but you can really engage, or you can use it even to escape a lot. So we just wanted to take this cooldown down a little bit. This is a relic we don't want to necessarily change its range or like speed or anything like that because they make it feel really strange. So the cooldown is our major way to adjust this relic, and especially with the prevalence of bursty assassins, which Poin can speak more of, they're using this relic really well.
Yeah, and it can become a bit frustrating if that's happening to you consistently and regularly as an assassin blinking onto you and just bursting you instantaneously. So this makes it happen a little bit less often. The characters who are using this have to be a little bit more strategic with when they use it. If they make a mistake, it's going to be down for that much longer.
Well, talking a little bit more about some changes. 2 items that have been a strong. Chalice of the Oracle. Yes. Is also going to get a bit of a hit this patch. It's going back up in cost to its original point, 400 gold. It was 300. Yeah. We experimented there. Seems the experiment has deemed it was a little bit too strong.
Yeah, this is a straight up revert from the 5-1 change.
We don't do reverts.
I love you.
Yeah, we do, apparently.
Now I don't have to deal with 8,000 wards on my map.
But what
now everyone's going to have to buy wards.
We were moving into the new
There will be no wards on the map.
We had a bigger map. We had more corridors, windier corridors. We have those new geometry, especially near like the mid lane, that are like more forks in the road that make it a little harder to ward all of the paths with one ward. We wanted to give players another way to ward a little bit more. And we know a lot of the community was generally with us on this. We heard a lot of comments. We saw a lot of feedback. And that's great. It seemed to have worked. The problem is it worked a little too well.
It was like Christmas trees everywhere. Lights were everywhere.
We had multiple games that we saw where people were buying 9 to 10 chalices.
In the competitive tournaments, we saw this.
So it really just caused where when there's that much warding, games become very slow-paced. Everyone kind of knows where everyone is. That kind of feeling of, I don't know where someone is, so I'm going to make a decision based off that knowledge, becomes a lot less. And so we just saw games slow down really heavily. We do want some uncertainty in the map, and so bringing this back up, players can still opt into this vision. They can still go for it. But the opportunity cost is a lot lower. You have to get more wards out to make it cost efficient.
Still valuable. Still going to be a good item. It's just going to be tricky where to fit it into the build and not just like, well, I've got 300 gold spare. So
right. This is a really interesting change because it didn't affect a large part of the player base. I mean, a lot of average players and players that are not playing Conquest aren't buying this item a lot. They don't need the wards, or they're choosing just to build right into their items. We just saw that the pros were really, really using it and abusing it, and even doing things like buying it on a long-range mage and just dropping it over a wall just to see people and shoot them once or twice, and then not even care that ward's not like a really good optimal ward for preventing ganks or anything. They were actually just doing it to set up one ability, and then they go back to base and reset it. So it was just getting used a bit too heavily. So I think a lot of players won't notice this change too much. This is really targeted towards the high end, and it was just preventing kills, which we were nervous about.
Well, talking about a change, a focus change, I should say. Heartseeker, mainly for assassins, I guess, is going to get a little bit of a nerf this patch too. We're going to be reducing decreasing, I should say, the passive bonus damage trigger from 100% to 80% of your physical power. So it's a small chunk, but 20% is 20%.
Yeah, it is going to significantly reduce the amount of damage Heartseeker does over the course of the game. And really, what we found with Heartseeker was both really good early stats with the amount of movement speed, penetration, power it provided at the cost slot it did, but then it also scaled in the late game really well because it's 100% of your physical power. So by reducing this, we focus a little bit more on the early game passive that it gives, and it's a nice bonus that accumulates over the course of the game. And it also does reduce that frustration factor where someone blinks onto you and immediately hits you with an ability that then chunks you for the damage.
It's still gonna hit hard,
proc, and then if you're
it's still gonna be optimal.
So just that whole combination's being toned down a little bit. It's an interesting, fun playstyle, but it can be a bit frustrating when it's overtuned.
Unlike the Chalice, this is something probably everybody was feeling. This is big burst damage, and it's very popular on all assassins. We really want to keep assassins bursty and squishy and mobile. Right now, we don't.
Please don't make them fucking tanky again.
As far as previous seasons, season 4, we saw a lot of warrior junglers and stuff like that. We were trying to be very careful about not pushing us back into that realm.
If you nerf
really
Crusher
like the assassin meta being more
warrior
bursty,
jungle's coming back, baby.
More mobile, more squishy. But this item specifically, with the fact that it's instant, like at least Crusher is some delayed damage. This is instant burst that's stacked on top of your abilities, so it's resulting in really huge bursts that are really hard to react to. So just taking this down a notch, I still believe this item is very strongly statted for its price. That's partially one of the benefits of the Katana tree, as it's more focused on which type of gods can purchase it. But this item is great. Just that burst was becoming a little.
Hey, guess what, guys?
A little too prevalent, so.
Quentin Jungle #1.
Frustration. Emerald Talisman is also going to get hit this patch too. This builds into Stone of Gaia for you guys at home, so it's a tier 2 of Stone of Gaia. It's going to get a cost increase from 1,200 to 1,400 gold. Not only that, we're going to decrease the passive from 0.25% of your HP per second to 0.2. This does follow up with a nerf to Stone of Gaia 2, so we should go into that first before we go to the designers. With this having an increase in gold from 2,100 to 2,250 gold. So 150 gold increase there. And the passive also being hit a little bit too. Decrease passive from 0.4% of your HP per second to 0.3. So overall, it's just getting more cost and less regen.
Well, yeah, you segued into this one with frustration again.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties in with Oracle. This was preventing kills at a high rate. It was doing a little too much sustain for the price. It's very, very cost-effective item.
Yeah.
Especially for early warrior pickups, really making them pretty much ungankable, or especially they're not going to get soloed. So we wanted to make sure that warriors had pretty even choice between, you know, the standard Breastplate of Valor, Mystical Mail, this item, and a few others to make sure they all could be that first item instead of really
everyone
forcing
else
people
but the
into this
assassins
one.
from here on out,
Another
please.
thing to mention about this one is we slightly changed the way we're presenting the numbers here. The passive is written in the game as per 5 seconds, but making that change was that was actually incorrect because it ticks every second. So we rephrased that in the patch notes here just to actually make the change more clear, so you can understand how much we nerfed it. And I believe that's going to be reflected in the item in the game. So it's going to be rephrased. It's recalculated instead of per 5 seconds. It's every second, just the way it has worked. But that's not a change. That's the way it's already been. It's just a wording change. So just want to draw attention to that.
Last but not least, in terms of item changes, we're going to see one adjustment this patch, which is going to be to Shaman's Ring, part of the ring tree the boys were talking about. This is going to have a gold increase, first of all, from 2,300 gold to 2,400. That's probably why it's going to adjust, because it's also going to get a power boost. It's going to go from 80 magical power to 100. That's a lot of power on this ring now.
Yeah, so this is similar to what we talked about before, where we wanted to give offensive items to mages a bit of a nice kind of bump so that it became more impactful. Shaman's Ring is something that works really well with characters who can get consistent damage out, and it just augments your further damage. So if you can use an ability to get like a setup and then follow up with something, it's very powerful. And so we want to make sure that effect feels really good, so we gave it a bit more magical power. So when you actually start hitting things, it's augmented by the percent increase that it gives.
Up over
but we
other
also
items.
realized that might be a bit too easy to build into.
I don't know why they're buffing
you 100
all the
power,
fucking mage items
just a little bit. So moved it more
but
towards the luxury
nerfing
tier,
everything for assassins.
Stats.
Adjusting the cost and the power here is something we might do in the future again with mages. We found that a lot of the mages
jungles, baby. Let's
they're
go.
valuing more power in the late game, and they don't really mind. Mage players are like, I'd be very happy to pay more gold for a couple of my items to allow myself to really hit that high power cap in the late game. So a couple of these items, especially like Shaman's Ring, it works in a very combo-oriented thing. You need to have the mark applied. You need to deal a bunch of damage. So it is kind of a late game item. The fact that we take a late game item and increase the cost and then also increase the power should make the item more attractive overall. So it is a shift. Technically, it's a buff and a nerf at the same time. But I just wanted to call attention to that relationship where, although it costs more,
music they're playing needs to go down like one notch
without arguing. And you think about the context of how mages builds are working together. This is something that we might use in the future, and something that we've been hearing from feedback from pros and players about how we just want to hit that power cap.
Assassins suck.
With that, that's all the items we've got this week. But we can have a little look here. Just if you've just tuned in, or you want a little recap of what we just went over, there are all the items that are going to get buffed: Countlet of Thebes, Doom Mob, Soul Reaver, Telkine's Ring. The nerfs will be towards Blink, Chalice of the Oracle, Stone of Gaia, and its
Doom might be the play on Poin again.
And the changes, the adjustments.
I'm not sure though, because life feels so good.
Ring. But you'll be able to read through all that once again in the patch notes after the show, as per usual. But it's now time to move on to gods.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's going on with gods right now, Pom?
There's a few characters who are
really?
Bit good.
Which one?
The ones that have generally really high pick ban rate on the rankings that we've seen. The general characters that
can't be played in ranked chat.
The characters. Oh yeah, sure. Achilles is a bit strong, just a bit.
Yeah.
Wee bit, tiny bit.
Tiny.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But we focus on a few characters that were large frustration factors. We also brought up a few characters who were a bit underperforming, or maybe just had some clunkiness that we decided to clean up in the kit.
Yeah, we always want to make sure we increase the diversity of picks.
Yeah.
You want people to have a lot of picks.
And
so
Thoth
we've been keeping a close eye on the pick ban rate and things like that in current ranked. There's a lot of gods that the couple gods at the top are really way up there.
Yeah.
So we hit a couple last patch, and we're gonna do a couple more this one, and I think it's gonna be good.
Achilles is getting
good
nerfed.
changes here. We go.
Well, let's start. They've all divided into buffs and nerfs now, so I can't call him out for being non-alphabetical
I even
anymore,
called it out that it wasn't alphabetical, and then we're trying this new kind of buff nerf.
Buff nerf shift.
Let's go with buffs, right?
All right.
So scream in chat what buff you want.
All right.
No, none of those are getting it. Apollo, So Beautiful is going to get a buff. Increased base damage from 70 scaling going up to 290 will now be 80 to 320. So all ranks of this are actually increasing in terms of damage output.
Yeah, the big thing here is Apollo is a character that we watched really closely when we did the Season 5 map, because we expected global pressure was going to be really impactful on this. And we watched him for a little bit. We watched him change with all the itemization changes we made early on in Season with Hunters. And he just never really showed up. He never really had that impact that we expected him to have with that global presence. So after watching him, seeing that he's kind of solidified a spot, people have shaken out the meta enough that we feel confident enough that his performance isn't going to change much. We're going to bump up his damage to help him get more into the late game. We expect his ultimate to be really good. We expect his passive to be really good. But he just struggled a bit too much in the early and mid game to really get there.
Right, as Poin mentioned, he has a couple other abilities that are very strong. Like his ability to instantly mez people around him, and it's got a bunch of other buffing and debuffing effects. His dash, knock-up CC, global travel he does. So one thing we looked at when we look at Apollo is just damage, lane clear damage. And this is something that was focused on in Apollo's early history. Yeah. This was taken down a lot. Sure. But another important thing about Season 5 was that the minions were made harder to kill in the early games. So we feel even more comfortable bringing Apollo back to that. Hopefully this will bring him more in line with Hunters and won't overdo it.
That's fair. We'll see how he goes with that, though. Next up, it will be Chronos. He's going to get a little bit of love. Chronos has been struggling a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, he has been struggling. Kind of, he's gone up and down, but ever since we did a change back in season 4,
I told you they're trying to make him into an auto attack god instead of a mage.
He hasn't really been
an auto attack mage
up to like where we kind of expected to.
Okay, well we're going to do base stats
his abilities if they wanted him to be a mage.
35 to 40. This will not affect Chronos' abilities, by the way. Just to be clear, this is basic attack power. And Time Lord is also going to get a little bit of love. Increased magical power per stack from 3 to 5.
So you read that base stats change like it was just a normal base stats.
No. I just wanted to be clear. I was trying to make sure it was. I mean, it's a big power. 5 damage on an auto attack is huge, but making sure it's clear that it's not ability based is also important.
No, that's very important. This is huge for a few reasons. Yeah. So first of all, ever since we changed the haste effect on Chronos, so he can't just full speed while he's swinging all the time. And remember, Chronos was especially strong because he could miss during it too, right?
Yeah. He didn't have to continually get
normal haste. You have to hit to keep moving. Chronos could just throw basic attacks over and over again, moving full speed. He hasn't really had that huntery feel ever since then, but people want to play him like that, and they're used to it, so we wanted to bring that back. So this actual base stats change from 35 to 40. This puts him at the hardest hitting basic attacks of all mages. It puts him completely out of scope.
How far behind Hunters is he on that scale?
He is up with Hunters. He is tied with Hunters now.
He's above some Hunters.
Some Hunters he is now above.
Damn,
so normally mages would cap at 35. Chronos is now going to break that cap with him to have this unique aspect as a possible mage hunter carry. You know, Alquang and Freya and some other of the really unique mages do things like this too, so it's not unheard of. But we really wanted to make this interesting and unique again, so we're trying to bring back his huntery abilities with that too.
Cool.
And then the Time Lord, that's just to give him better ramp up if games are short.
Sure.
So a lot of games aren't going really to his max range of Time Lord's ability. So now it's going to make him really scary if the game goes really far, but it's also going to help him ramp up throughout the rest of the game.
Cool. Yeah, plus we also have the Rod to Hoodie change, which makes like how much magical power things give kind of nebulous. And so we brought that up a bit because that's also been something that was removed from Chronos.
Wait, Kumbhakarna's getting a buff?
Yeah.
No!
Yes, he is. It's been a while,
hasn't it?
Missed him.
Shit, fucking
Let's see what you did. Throwback. Decreased cooldown from 15 seconds to 13 seconds, so 2 seconds off that. Throwback's the 1. For anyone who doesn't know what throwback is, that's the 1 where you
Kumbhakarna's jungle, baby! Nerf my assassins! Let's go!
For you guys at home, because no one really plays Kumbha now, so I'm just reminding people what these things do. Everyone just remembers the yawn and the uppercut. That's
Thanks, Hindu.
No problem. Groggy Strike increased base damage from 70 to 270. It's going to be 90 to 290. So a little bit extra damage on the Groggy Strike in the early game, going to allow him to get a little bit more poke off in lane. And cooldown on the throwback's not bad either.
Yeah, I think the big thing to note here is that we didn't really adjust anything CC related of his, right?
He's got a lot.
He has a lot of CC. No. He has a lot of lockdown. He can root you. He can mez you into like a slow. He can then also uppercut you to remove you from the battlefield and also CC you for a while.
And do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and that can be very frustrating. And so we'd rather focus on things like his ability to consistently apply damage output with throwback getting reduced cooldown and also a little bit of mobility there so he can actually use that to move around the fight. As well as the it's a big wind-up, and didn't feel it exactly
and do more from be a fast Kumbhakarna
nature on that. Now that wind-up's more worth it.
The mobility there is going to be pretty key on a bigger map. As a Guardian that doesn't have a lot of other movement, that'll help. Sure. Another thing is, throwback is a pretty interesting ability to buff too because it's so conditional for a lot of its uses, like you having to have a minion there and a target and line those things all up. I mean, yeah, you can just use it on its own, but it's to use it in its most potential, it's a little more difficult. And then Groggy Strike, just that wind up, right? We always talk about that. It's a really long wind up, and it's really iconic to Kumbha, and it adds a lot of good reactivity and counterplay. But we wanted to make sure that you feel rewarded when you do hit that successfully. So the little bit of damage increase there should feel good.
Everyone that one shot me as Kumbha, yes.
Nuwa's getting quite a few changes this patch. Yeah, why are we doing all these to Nuwa?
Yeah, before we go through them, there's a lot.
Okay, obviously, leave that one on the screen, but go on.
Yeah, before we go into all of them, so a lot of them are quality of life adjustments.
Right, okay.
Very slight things to bring her more in line with other mages, make things feel better. They're not going to have huge results on her power level. Other than that, we've seen her suffering in the stats for quite a while.
Okay.
So when we were looking at what to do with her, there was a lot of opinions. You know, her kit is very interesting, is very combo oriented.
Definitely.
In her regular kit, but then she has this ultimate that is the opposite of combo of like a skill shot combo, right? It's the hit everybody for free ability. So we had to be careful with that.
Sure.
So she can be tricky to adjust, and there's a lot of different ways to go. Last thing we did was allow her to use her minions more effectively. So that kind of was reducing the frustration of the Nuwa players. So we really tried to focus more on reducing frustrations of Nuwa players, and she doesn't have a lot of real standard mage buffs here in this list. More of things that are going to make people playing Nuwa not be upset about these strange interactions. So running out of mana, getting stealthed, unstealthed, getting stuck, things like that.
And the mana one we can start off with straight away. So already on the screen, decreased mana cost of the fog. Just coming down a little bit there, 70 to 90 is now 60 to 80. But not only that, with the fog, we're also going to decrease the time that Nuwa is revealed in the fog from 3 seconds to 1 second. That's pretty good.
If she attacks, she will re-stealth in 1 second as opposed to 3, which was the entire ability. It was kind of a silly feature.
If you ever unstealth yourself, you're basically unstealthed.
Does that work with other players in the fog then?
I believe that would impact that number. Because I
guess it was, right?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah, it should
so
be.
the teammates hidden in the fog and then freeze breath so you can go invisible again after a second.
Yep, should work that way.
Cool. All right, I don't think it's a really good buff.
Man.
I just realized that. I just thought I'd ask. Clay soldiers. Increase base movement speed of these soldiers from 350 to 365. Man, they're getting quick.
Yeah, so that's mainly
those sausage-wielding ones are going to be dangerous now.
It's mainly to make sure, especially in the early game, that these soldiers can actually catch up and get in range to dash. If you're using,
it's actually a big change.
There's a lot of times where if you're chasing someone, you
change.
throw them out, they have a bit of an activation time. And then if someone was outpacing them, they'd really outpace them. And so now this helps them close the distance a bit.
Another good point we've heard from Nuwa players is they would run into their own minions when trying to chase people down.
That's true.
So speed them up a little bit so you don't actually feel body blocked by your own ability immediately after firing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Clay Soldiers. Next up is Shining Metal. Decreased mana cost from 60 to 50, so it's just 50 flat now.
Right.
And increased magical power scaling from 65% to 75%. So it's already a low cooldown anyway, but we want to make it, I guess, more free to fire?
Yeah, so the big thing is she often has to use 2 of these a wave as well as like fog to really actually clear the wave, and so that's really mana exhausting on Nuwa players. So reduce it a little bit, especially on the fog and the Shining Metal, to make her have a bit more mana in lane. But this is really the only direct damage buff that we have for her in this kit.
These are very small changes, but together,
even though there's things that are frustrating about her, a lot of these are quality of life things, but she was still suffering. So the nice quality of life things will bring her up a bit, but we needed a little bit more to bring her to where we need her to be. And so we're giving her a bit more magical power scaling on Shining Metal, which also helps if you don't have your Clay Soldiers up to combo, because Shining Metal comes up way quicker than that. You feel a little bit better about casting this just on its own.
It's her actual only skill shot. Like Mage ability, you just shoot at someone to deal damage, and it didn't deal enough damage to feel rewarding or useful, and it's not super easy to hit. It's pretty narrow. It doesn't have super long range, and we wanted to encourage players to actually feel okay with firing this off to deal poke and deal damage in between combo setups. So that's where you're going to get the mana change in the damage.
Okay, Fire Shards is the last one. This is an interesting one. Can pass through player-made deployables while lifting off. It's a good change. I get why, because it makes sense, but at the same time, come on.
Well, she flies
in the cage, man.
That is a weird change. The air.
This is something that the community has been requesting for a long time. It makes most sense because of its intuitive art, visuals. Yeah. She flies way up in the air, and then she's still blocked by things. So we have her going up into the air. She's going over it. We did write this notes in this way because she's not going to be able to go through things on her way down. So we want to be able to let people use it as an escape.
Yeah, she go over it all.
Using it
to redeploy afterwards.
Right, and it allows also counterplay from opponents, because now they can wait until she goes up and then wait on her way down.
But that's how it should have been working to begin with, to be honest.
That makes some sense. I
get it makes sense. Trust me. I had another thing I wanted to say about it, but I can't remember, so we'll go on.
As long as she can't go over like mid-army walls.
It's going to be Raw this week. I guess he needed a bit of love. It's been a while. Base stats, movement speed has been increased from 355
we already saw the clip with Chapo.
5 less than Clay Soldiers. Just
my man was running at 900 speed for 20 minutes.
Scaling from 80% to 90%. So a bit of love for Raw.
Raw, yes. So a thing is, a lot of people like to think of Raw as perma-balanced. He's a great kit, don't get me wrong, he's a release god, he's fantastic, but there's been a lot of Mage meta shifts. There just have.
Yeah.
A lot of Mage meta shifts. Some that favored him, some that didn't. But we've really been seeing him struggling in the meta, in our stats, and in our just in ranked games and this people pick rate and ban rate and stuff like that, Raw's not really a factor.
Cool.
We wanted to bring him in. He has really cool skill shots and really unique ranged healing, which is cool for him. People weren't really valuing that. We wanted to adjust his movement speed and his scaling.
Oh, they're fucking
just to make sure that
so
those
much
difficult
Mage
skill
shit
shots
right
do
now.
feel rewarding, and that movement speed, the way he jukes,
Jungler's got a big fuck
is a
you.
really cool feature of just
Mage has got a big come play us. Everyone play the mid.
Instead of leaps or dashes, he's got constant movement and good jukes, and he's got tough skill shots.
Okay.
Skill shots.
Enough of buffs. Let's get on to the real important stuff, and that's the nerfs.
Yeah, what everybody's been waiting for.
Achilles!
Do it! That OP.
Yeah,
yes, you do that.
Achilles.
Do that.
Nerf.
The first thing I was saying here, still very strong. No, really. Shield of Achilles.
There you go. Lower the damage,
from
baby.
100 to 340 will now be 80 to 300. Decreased stun duration as well. It was 1.1 to 1.5 seconds. It's only going to be 1 second at all ranks now. And combat dodge is escape and magical damage.
All my changes.
As well. Has actually gone up in cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. So just minor tweaks, we should bring him in line.
Literally every change that I said just went through.
That has a lot of flexibility, and that's kind of the goal of him. Was he can get into fights and be tanky, he can control people, or he can be really offensive oriented. But he was just a bit too good at all the things that he could do. So we're bringing down the base damage so that when he is fighting, he doesn't have as much damage unless he really opts into it. That's why we didn't hit the scaling. If he wants to opt into that playstyle, he still can and can be very aggressive. We lowered the amount of time he stuns so that players have more time to fight around him. He doesn't have like a Guardian level stun. It also set up his execute or a Shield of Achilles or his like follow-up damage really well. And then also combat dodge, which is coming up a bit too often. He was able to get in and out of situations a bit too freely. So we're reducing
now they nerf is
Achilles
all.
will still be quite
I think it'll be a
mobile,
little overkill. I hope they don't touch us all.
It's to be Achilles.
But he won't just have the answer to every situation.
Okay. That's Achilles. We'll move on to Ao Kuang next. I like this change. King of the Eastern Seas removed the brief window where Ao Kuang is untargetable during this ability's casting time. There was a window where he just wouldn't take damage.
Yeah, this is honestly more of a bug fix, but it does affect him and weakens him slightly, so we wanted to mention it. So when he's just doing the sword stab animation, before he actually hits his target, he was untargetable during that time. So extremely talented players could use it to juke abilities or avoid things, but more so just
secrets come out.
Okay, because he doesn't look like usually when you go untargetable, we move you up into the air or away from something, or you phase out. But he just looked totally.
That is actually pretty strong. There's a lot of situations where you get the last like second kill and don't die because of it.
I'm happy to see these names on the nerf. Hebo, he's getting nerfs too. Water Spout decreased magical power scaling from 85% to 75%. An Atlas of the Yellow River. That is called wet paper if you guys don't know. Increased cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds as well. So a little bit less power on those water hands.
Yeah, Hebo. Well, it's the not
Spout.
Spout.
It's the Spout, yeah, okay.
Not hands.
So the big thing is
I prefer that,
Hebo,
actually,
with all the item changes and season 5 changes, came out really strong. He can be really aggressive in the lane. He can really poke people. He lines up his ultimate really well. And so the big thing now is we're looking at him. We like that he's actually really useful now. We see people actually picking him. He had a really hard time actually getting there. But the amount of control that Water Spout provides that knock-up felt like it was also a bit too damaging. He can knock you in the air and then immediately follow up all his stuff. That ability hitting you so hard on its own felt a little bit almost unfair.
It's free damage, basically, isn't it? That's right.
And then the Atlas of the Yellow River is a very powerful movement speed stem. It can cleanse slows. It can do it for your entire team. It also is part of the reason why he can progress so effectively. He can throw it out in mid lane. It's really hard for you to get out of range of his Water Spout. And so we're just increasing the cooldown on that to make it so that it happens less often. Players have more opportunity to play around Hebo if he chooses to actually drop the carpet.
It was crazy to see Hebo go from like a 5% pick ban rate in the end of Season 4 to like a 95% pick ban rate by right now. As well as his wins and damage and everything skyrocketing.
Rip Paul.
I think these adjustments here fit the abilities well. So much utility on that Atlas, and usually mages their heavy CC ability does a little less damage. There's generally some kit rules we keep with mages, but Hebo's Water Spout was just doing really high damage for also being his core CC.
Yeah. Do you want some more nerfs?
Oh, they do.
Have more.
Say so in chat. Say the name of him because they're probably
touch my junglers, bitch.
Nemesis. Going to get some nerfs this patch too. To Divine Judgment. Decreased the Nemesis self buff duration from 8 seconds to 5 seconds.
That's fine.
And also decreased the cooldown of this from 90 to 70. It's now going to be 90 seconds at all ranks.
That's needed, but it's fine.
Pretty impactful.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussion with this god. With the
100%. No troll.
We've been seeing her show up a lot in the stats too. Thing is that ultimate, can't miss.
No, really. I never do.
Believe it or not.
Can't miss.
You might think you're just
That's actually a lie.
At the god.
You can throw it into Robin too or into an
So it's about
Aegis.
timing, it's about choosing the right target and at the right time. But giving Nemesis such a long self buff and her being able to use it on such a low cooldown, and in conjunction with Heartseeker,
immunity,
and Blink,
and
Crusher, and things like some of the recent tools, she's really skyrocketed lately, and she's eventually had an unmissable ability that could just
she's still going to be strong.
So
that
with Heartseeker nerf and the Blink nerf and the cooldown nerf, she's going to do that same thing. It's going to be a lot less effective.
Sure. Pretty self-explanatory for that. We'll move on to Thoth. He's also going to get a nerf. My oh my. Dead Reckoning. We're going to actually, that's a passive for you guys at home. Decrease the magical penetration per stack from 4 to 3.
Every change you heard on my stream.
Total, you were getting 20 and 15 instead. But not only that, the Glyph of Pain. That's the wall. That's decreased magical power scaling bonus on both the ability and basic attack trigger from 10% to 5%. So a 5% reduction there. Adjust description word reduced is unclear.
Yes. So, Thoth.
Yes.
Mages.
Yes.
Like we said, we've already talked about this a lot.
Yes.
Mage itemization changing a lot. The fact that he got 20 free penetration was
really good.
Crazy. Really, really strong. Especially since a couple of the penetration items, like Divine Ruin and Obsidian Shard, are very situational. Even more situational than they were before. So just this access to this true flat DPS pen was very strong for him. So we wanted to just knock that down a little bit. Still his unique feature, but we don't want him having that much free pen.
Yep.
The wall might seem like a bit of a strange way to adjust him, but really when you're playing Thoth well, and that's where we see him causing the most issues,
the
very
wall is OP.
You're shooting a lot of your abilities through the wall anyway. So really what the scaling change is like a 5% scaling nerf on every shot through the wall. Yep. So that 3, which you're getting hit, boom, 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 that's 5, 5, 5 scaling nerf here. He's still going to have that long-range artillery. Like, we didn't really adjust his his cap damage, not that much, but this ability to poke and, like, constantly force you out, and when he's positioning himself really well, it just feels uncounterable.
Yep.
Should give you a little bit more ways to deal with that.
Okay. And last but not least, well, we needed at least one adjust for the graphic I'm going to show you in a minute. So Fafnir is going to get an adjust this patch. Increased strength, that's his 1. His stun is actually going to increase. It was
a buff,
1 second. It's now going to go back to scaling as time goes on. 1 second all the way up to 1.4 seconds. And Coerce is going to take a little bit of a hit here. Decreased self-healing from 50 to 150 is now going to be 50 to 130. So late game a little bit less, and decrease self-healing scaling from 40% to 30% of your magical power, just in case you're trying that cheeky little solo Fafnir play.
Yeah, that's for the solo Fafnir.
I think the big thing here is Fafnir is a character who, largely at most players' levels, is actually in an okay spot. You can play him, you can be effective with him, but the pro level he's caused a lot of issues with god diversity. When he's really, really powerful, he kind of just stifles all the support picks. And so we had a lot of discussion with the pro players. We've had a lot of feedback on it. And then we made a change to the stun that was largely targeted towards early aggression. And we made that change, the pro players like, whoa, 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 this was not the way that we wanted him to be adjusted. This was something that caused him to lose a lot of his early pressure, but still have the thing that's really frustrating about his late game. So we're half reverting it so that he still gets the scaling stun duration while the one's out. But we're reducing the sustain he has because he's very evasive. He has a leap. He has the immunity on his ultimate, and then he has the self-heal. Reducing that heal to reduce the amount of survivability he gets in the late game. So we're taking that feedback that we got, bringing back some of the strength that he had before to help the pro levels kind of pick him in like the competitive meta, and then reducing the thing that was really frustrating.
Awesome. Well, let's see how Fafnir goes. That's it for God Balance, and that's it from these two for the show.
Right.
This is a little look at the graphic for you guys at home to see exactly what happened. Chronos, New War, Kumbhakana, Apollo, Ra, and Ra buffed, Al Kwang, Achilles, Nemesis, Thoth, Hebo. Could you believe it feels like they nerfed everything that needed nerfing? And Fafnir, maybe not everything before someone starts tweeting at me. But now it's time to take a quick moment to while we're getting the next segment ready. I'm going to speak to you guys at home real quick, you console players out there. We fucked up. Not going to change my wording on that whatsoever. We messed up with the patch and it was really bad. And on behalf of High-Risk Studios, I want to apologize for the state of that patch and the situation you guys have been having at home on console. We have already released a blog post, I believe, that is on social media right now, Twitter, Reddit, and on the Smite forums as well. If you want to go and take a look over that, you'll see that we're making steps to make sure this issue is sorted out, and we're going to obviously be making sure this doesn't happen again. I just want to say again on behalf of the company, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I'll take the blame for it. Just blame me. I'll take it for everybody. Not these guys, though. The community team is now joining me as well. Happy birthday, Stealth.
Oh, it's not my birthday. It's someone else's.
Your baby's a little blue.
Aged 10 years.
Well, this is not my baby.
What
this
the fuck?
I was going to say, like, child services will have some issues.
Stealth just went from
this is
little
Balloona?
baby
Baluna,
there's a face on it. The camera can see the face.
28-year-old living on the couch smoking weed eating pizza every day.
Doing really well.
Good.
What the fuck just happened?
So let's go ahead and talk about the weekend event. Brett, what we got?
Well, we got a 3 times everything weekend event.
3 times everything?
Well, it was supposed to be 2 times everything, but we changed it to 3 times
Before
everything. I'm destroying this whole bit.
By
the way.
Yeah.
This bit was supposed to start off saying, we have a 2 times everything event, and it's going to go great. And then Hindu was going to say...
Just tell the secrets.
Well, what was Hindu going to say after?
I was going to turn around and say, you know what? Well, to be fair, what actually happened is we were talking behind the scene, boys and girls, and these guys were like, it's 2 times. Like, you should make it 3 times for console because console deserves it after the shit show we gave them this past week. And they were like, but you can't.
Hi, Rez. Hi, Rez. Hello.
I do that. And I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure that happens. Right. And I said, we'll do this on air. And then Stealth just ruins it by going, yeah, we're doing 3 times
and
everything.
Right off the bat.
That's what happened. So 3 times for console?
Yeah, 3 times everything, and that is including fantasy points. Well, so on console, you'll get 3 times favor, worshippers, FP, and
3 times the free
That's 3 times for console. Is it 2 times for PC? Or
2 times for PC.
No gems.
Get screwed, PC. That's what you get. When you get a good patch,
no gems.
You want to get 2
no
times.
Skins.
But when you get a
you want that favor?
patch, you get 3 times. If you want more...
We got you. What the fuck is going on, man?
Bad patches for higher 3 times, let me know. I can make that happen too. I don't think I was supposed to say that, but I just did.
Yeah.
Did we do an art contest as well, by the way?
Yeah,
you guys were promoting it
we
for
had
weeks.
so many submissions for the Legend of the Foxes art contest. We had almost 400 submissions.
Wow.
And we went through them, and we went through and found some really, really great pieces.
Oh.
And we're excited to share them with you guys.
Oh, show me. Show me. I want to see.
All right, yeah. So we initially planned on having a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, but because we get so many submissions, we're like, yeah, let's do a 4th place. So starting up with 4th place, we had this amazing piece by @Jansky on Twitter.
That's cool.
Yeah, look at that fox. The eyes. It's just the composition is so good. I also like the outline around her hand, kind of like if she triggered her 1 again.
Her claws just come
exactly.
Up. Yeah. Okay. So that's 4th. Who came 3rd then?
3rd place is something else. This one's by Gummy Dog. This is a Smite.
He made it.
Yeah, this is a plushie. This looks fantastic. You know, we really had to reevaluate the whole word art.
Did he not send it in?
It's an art. We didn't actually get the physical plushie.
No, he doesn't deserve 3rd.
No.
Unless it gets in the studio, so we can have it on the show.
That's true. We redact your 3rd place prize.
Wait, the stream just freezing again? Hello? Hello? It's not frozen. It's literally not like it's still playing.
Please send us the plushie and you can have it back.
There you go.
Bro, there's shit.
No, that's not true. All you have to do, just share your patterns. Share your patterns. There are a lot of people in the studio that want Ratatoskr plushies.
Great way from Gummy Dog there. What's 2nd then? Who we got?
2nd place, we've got this amazing piece by Beruti. The cherry blossoms in the background are what sold it for me.
Spring is coming.
It's so
uneven
good.
titties.
Perfect time of year for a skin like that.
Yeah, I know. It's so good.
And, well, that's 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Who's 1st?
1st place we got.
Yes, I'm going to say Uria.
That's a good.
Yes, I'm going to say Uria.
That's a good answer.
Oh, that's a good one. See, Hindu Man's on point.
This is a great picture. This is something that I want like framed in my room. The composition on this is just next level.
I really like the galaxy stars in the tail. It's just got that celestial feel.
And what did they all win?
So everyone wins gems. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Beforehand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, so yeah, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th win gems, and everyone who submitted, also, we're going to be sending out skin codes for you guys.
Nice, nice. So congratulations to all the winners out there. Some fantastic artwork. I hope you do more of those because I want to see more.
Yeah, it's so good. We've got some amazingly talented people in this community.
Really good stuff. Well, that's it from you two. You can get away, right?
All right.
It's birthday time. Maybe.
What?
Can
Happy
you
birthday
even get that
bundle.
in your head?
I don't know it.
My horn just keeps
Welcome back for everyone's favourite section, at least mine is. It's where I get to have Chuck and Tina join me to go over the art this week.
Hold on, I'm managing my hats.
I know, I just noticed it.
Can I hold it?
All right.
It worked. Hello.
Hello.
How are you both doing?
Hello.
We got quite no, don't. Oh, stream's gonna hate you even more. You were hated already, and now you just blew that down their microphone.
No one hates me. I'm loved.
Chuck has changed his apparel choices.
Yeah.
We'll see. Bass Cannon Neef is the first one I've got on the list.
Yes,
Let's have a look at some Bass Cannon Neef. This is part of the Happy Birthday bundle for you all at home. We're going to be doing a bundle, and I've got a few things to let you know. There's going to be a couple of things in this bundle, which I'll get to later. But if you buy it on the very first day it comes out, it's going to be a discount. It's going to only be 675 gems for a bundle of stuff. And this lovely looking EDM skin is going to be in it.
It has the EDM functionality.
Yep.
It does. Well, I guess
jam with the other EDMs.
We might get a chance to see that in game 2 then.
Yes, yes. So
the color choices.
Swanky futuristic outfit.
I mean, we knew that bit, but it was like, why those colors? Was it just like, will these kind of fit?
Man, pink and cyan. It's a thing. Feels good.
Pink and cyan. Is that blue?
Yes.
Oh. So I don't know technically. It's pink, blue.
Cyan
is just
that
really
icy
good
ground is purple.
with color theory.
Ground is now grey. Let's have a look at these abilities then. Pompon, you better have this stuff ready. You've not even prepared. How is it not prepared?
I fucking hate knee skins.
Oh, those are
all those are really cool.
And
but
they've got some color variants that happens over time.
Oh, and the sparkles on the
Look at that, even a fancy targeter.
I like the gradients.
That's like my hunters. My hunters just hold that ability up and just wait to fire it.
Like, I hate these.
Toes in between, you know?
Yes.
The weave on the...
Chris making some swanky, high-tech
I just want to spam just spam all the abilities, Pam, because the music sounds great.
Yep.
God, dual lane with Ganesh is going to be awful.
Oh, man. It's going to be quaking.
Oh, it doesn't keep playing? Let's just keep playing.
The music's really good.
Yeah.
The skin's good too, but the music helps bring it even more together. Now, I believe, should we do voice pack first or should we see the dance? What do you want to see first?
Let's do the dance and then the voice pack.
Okay. Well, it looks like we may have people ready over this side.
Oh, there they are.
Poin was prepared. Well, so. Here's the crew.
This is what Poin was secretly preparing, this dance party.
I do like that we also put in that little hotfix where we allow people to be able to still move around in these dance emotes too. So
she's like jamming on her her bow. You see it?
So we need
one
more.
To move
right? Do we need one more?
So that you can run around through lane.
Because then what I want to do is like you're gonna have to send me a screenshot of you all getting.
They don't have a warrior or an assassin
at the same time.
Let me think about this. Because I think when we're done with the next one, you could have a fully balanced team.
No.
Fully balanced? You have a Zeus and a Janus.
Because there's two mages right there.
I mean, technically you could. You're gonna have to have a physical jungler, I think is what you need. I'm just letting you know ahead of time now. Physical jungler. Don't shout at me at home, by the way, if someone doesn't get the skin because I said physical jungler. I was just making reference to it. Let's have a listen to the voice pack of Neef.
Yeah! You're the illest. That was wild. I'm so hot right now. I'm not your kitten. Got it? My middle school mixtape was better than yours. What is the difference between a DJ and a dog? The dog knows when to stop scratching. They call me DJ Enzyme because I'm always breaking it down.
So, really interesting fact about this skin.
Go on.
So if you play World of Warcraft and you love Sylvanas Windrunner like I do, the voice actress for her is Neef.
Oh,
Patty
is it?
Mattson.
It's always cool when we get voice actors from other things. And
pretty cool.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. I was like dying on the call because.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was freaking out.
That's the Neef skin then. We'll move on to another skin that's going to be part of this birthday bundle, which I'll go into more detail about, I promise. Revenant Achilles. F-Dot technically chose this skin because he beat me at eating hot wings because I didn't want him to die, which it looked like he was about to do. In all honesty, he was sweating profusely.
How hot were the hot wings?
They were fine. I mean, I eat Vindaloo, so it's not a problem. If you don't know what Vindaloo is...
I do. I had some ghost chili Vindaloo one time, and we're not going to talk about it.
Oh, that doesn't sound good after. But he asked for tall, dark, and handsome, and manly, and that's kind of what he got.
Talking about.
I want to see without the armor.
What he got here as well.
We don't use armor around here, boys.
Oh. Yeah, this whole Dark Warrior Achilles thing definitely needed to happen. It's a good contrast, you know, between Achilles' normal golden boy kind of appearance. Here comes some Odins. What are they doing?
I was so confused by that. Odin's like, yo, I want a skin. Stick me in shot, boys. Like, come over here.
What the fuck?
Trying to show off the skin here. He's like, no. I need my shot first of all. So, with this one as well, he's going to have new abilities, as always. Let's have a little closer look at those. But yeah, I guess, you know, Achilles, he's known as manly and good looking, so you want a little bit of a dark feel to him as well.
Take it off. Take your shirt off.
Yeah, now he's
I forgot about that. So all of his skins are going to have this technology, I guess.
Yep. Shirtless technology.
Oh.
Ooh, that's another look.
Baby.
He looks like he's got scars. Ooh, battle wounds.
Yeah, he's a troubled, misunderstood character.
Looks weird
Dark Achilles.
from
That
the
would
other
be
view.
Achilles anyway, because it's only his Achilles that healed it. Like, you know, hurts, I guess. Right?
I think we've got different, you know, skins kind of have different lore, you know?
That's true.
He's kind of got his dark magical heart that's sustaining his evil powers.
There you go. Good lore concept there. I like it.
Yeah,
Let's go down that path. So that's a
Ooh,
2.
I like that sound.
Mysterious Eerie. The dash, and then the dash again. And you know what? We should execute 3 Odin pass, I think. That'd be fun, right? So while we're showing the execute off here, this birthday bundle
look at those skull
execute markers.
Oh.
Just kidding. You only kill one. Noob.
You can only kill one.
I was joking. It was a joke. Okay, so this is part of the birthday bundle. I'm going to let you guys know at home exactly what's in it. For 675 gems on release day. After release day, it'll go up to 900 gems. You will get that Neef skin you just saw, the Basket of Neef, the Revenant Achilles, as well as an Enigma chest, the EDM music theme, and a Smite birthday loading frame for just 675 gems. Now, I don't normally sell things on the show, but I tell you what, that's a freaking good deal on its own. It's a birthday deal, and that's exactly what you're going to be able to get on
all you do is sell shit.
The patch. Same for console, for you console kids at home. When this patch does hit the console, you'll get the same deal on your release day too. So if you really want this for cheaper, 675 gems on release day. After that, it will go up to 900, so just be aware of that. But now, time to move along to Sylvan. Oh, voice pack.
We do the voice pack? We got to do the voice pack.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Good. Just good. Phenomenal. I rule over all. My heart is an abyss, and it seems so is your appetite. Is the skull armor a bit much? Well, of course not. You can never have too many skulls.
Chuck, did you do the voice pack? Chuck smiled for you guys at home who didn't.
That's kind of something.
I'm not visible.
No comment
on the screen.
That's the main thing. Well, next up then is going to be Ho Yi, the Sylvan Sentinel. This reminds me of the Elemental Get one we've done and the Elemental Giannis a little bit. So we're almost getting an Elemental team going
and
together.
And kind
of
the Xing Qin.
Oh yeah, Enchanted got one too. Okay, so we've pretty much got a pretty solid team here as well with this one.
They're
this
kind
can look
of
pretty
in the
good.
nature universe.
They can like play bongos instead of you know, EDM stuff. Just kidding.
Ah, it looks really good.
Yeah, he's dope. I love the carved wood elemental body thing.
That's definitely what I'm going to play with the Ho Yi. Let's have a look at some of the quick abilities of this as well.
Yeah, what does this one look like?
Fire away, Pawn.
I feel like they can make it look pretty cool.
Ricochet.
They made it look pretty cool. All right.
Mark of the Golden.
All right, they did a good job.
Knowledge for the
proud of them.
Leap. It's always a leap. It doesn't matter what its
Thank
name
you.
is. And then Sons of Death is what I like to call this. Green Sons of Death.
Yeah.
They're Gebs. They're Gebs rolling down.
Like runes or something.
Well, this also comes
They're kind of runic rocks.
Yeah,
with a voice pack. Let's have a listen in to the voice pack.
Yes. Masterful. You show great skill. There is only one protector. You are tipping the balance of nature. You think animal puns are funny? Wait till you hear my acorny tree jokes.
Oh gosh.
Oh. That was painful.
That was painful. Well, that's the Ho Yi skin. Time to move on to one that looks absolutely amazing.
Wait.
What?
We want to hide.
We want to
Oh,
hide?
yeah.
He's got a really good...
No one told me that.
This is not.
I didn't know we were playing Fortnite.
I'm a bush.
People.
What?
He's a shrubbery.
Guys, I'm a bush.
A shrubbery.
A shrubbery.
Wait, did he just kneel down himself?
Yeah, can you make him like kneel?
That's great. I like that.
Isn't it great?
Bro,
That's
you could go in.
You can move in it too.
At a level 1,
like
level 1 account.
Will to be able to be moved in.
And
then,
sneak attack on kids.
Like the
100%. They will walk right by this shit.
Look
at that.
I will.
They walk right past
you. I am right after this show.
Next YouTube video.
Chibi Thoth is next on the list. And he's Beaky.
He's
Chibi. And
look at him.
Little snake on his head.
Look at his little legs.
Let's have a little chubby legs. Game too. So this is just like the raw one and the Hades one.
Yeah, he's in the same chibi style. We were very excited to chibi-eyes Thoth, and he turned out so cool.
Cute but deadly.
Very deadly.
Oh,
there's some big, pretty sweet eyes.
Look at his snake.
And he's got his cute little coloring book.
His little book.
Pictures.
His little duck. It's a ducky.
Amazing. Good drawings. They're better than mine.
That's hilarious,
it's a dang
actually.
Duck.
Already better than mine.
Oh my goodness.
It's really basics in the one.
He's got cute little chibi simplified versions.
Oh.
Look at how big its head is. Oh yeah, this skin's fucking dope.
Oh, look at the stars.
Later, bye-bye.
What really makes these is the look of this game, but also the voice pack really helps to it.
Yeah, see, that was my idea that I sent to Tina. Do it again.
There's 2 different ones.
That's cool. Now it also comes with a voice pack
one of
too.
the better
Obviously,
chibi
let's
skins,
have a listen into that.
I was just about to end them. Thanks. Outstanding. I radiate greatness. Yeah, I'm gonna judge you real hard. Do you want some butt? I need a new pin. Could you be a doll and fetch me one from Pin Island?
The pig noises you can hear are not part of the voice pack. I just want you to know.
That's Tina's voice pack.
That
is real
Tina's
life.
personal voice pack that she likes to add to the show sometimes.
Do some jokes and taunts.
Jokes and taunts.
I need a new pin. Could you be a doll and fetch me one from Pin Island?
Okay. Time to move along then to the next game. Pixel Beast Chronos is next on the list. Squeal piggies. Please tell me they turn into little piggies.
They're pixels.
Pigs. I see what you did
there. Oh man,
you
fell right into that.
Wow.
Just
what
space
an amazing joke that one was.
Yep. I might be a pixel too.
They're little
Did you do the voice pack for the ult? I hope so.
I should have.
You should have. You would have been a really good rendition.
So we were excited to pixelize Kern because of his color changing technology.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
The shoulders look. I actually love the little pixels on the shoulders and the arm as well. That's great. Is it like a discify, is that? Of course, because it's a glaive, isn't it? Wow.
It's like
a pixel glaive.
That makes sense. If I say anything, don't respond with just pixel. I realize that now, okay? Because every time I say something, you're like, it's pixel! I'm like, yep.
So, hey, Pond, look down and just throw it into... Yeah, see?
Wow.
It's got kind of
Pixelated
cool. Edges like Pixel Buster, Freya's sword.
It's on the card art, right, too?
That's really cool. Show me the brush.
Would you kindly stop right there?
Whoa.
Some round effects right. How you could hide in that now?
I like that sound.
Ominous. I can dance all day.
And the ultimate, here we go.
Piggies? Piggies!
Polygonal piggies.
Pixels.
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 That's what I said, pixels.
You're right, you're right.
I did. 3 little pixels. Well, it's time to go wee all the way home, or at least to the voice pack.
Absolutely legendary.
are carrying. I am a one-man team. You good? Is your game working? Try turning it off and on again. Yeah, I got the chroma update. Look at all the colors.
And finally, we got 2 more skins to show you before we end the stream this week. It's the 2 skins you've been expecting.
Check out the VXG.
Oh, there's a VXG here too. No one tells me about the VXGs anymore. You just surprise me all the time.
Well, don't you like surprises?
I do. Of certain varieties, that's for sure.
That's fun. Oh wait, so is that you doing it and then changing colors, Poin? Oh yeah, check it out.
Cool.
What's the whirly disc thing that everyone kept using called?
What are those things that the kids have
now?
What's it called?
That they can choke on?
The spinny.
Spinners.
Spinners.
I wasn't trying to. I know if it's from Edge, I'm like. See, even Tina doesn't know.
It's triggering me now.
I can't remember what it is. Fidget spinner.
Fidget the Huda.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a fidget spinner. That's what I'm saying. He's got his own personal one now that he can fly around with.
He can
So when you're bored in lane between waves, just pop your fidget spinner and spin away.
And then you can fidget spinner in real life. You know, it's like
fidget spin while you fidget spin, dude.
It's like when you're playing The Sims and you got to make your guy take out the trash, and then you have to stop because you have to take out the real trash. It can be like that.
Zenko Ratatoska is the next one on. You've seen some of these skins before. Obviously, it's going to have the very similar animations, just in a different color variety. It does come with a voice pack, however, which
this is the sweet.
I like the colors of this one. They're good colors.
The cutie pie one.
Aww.
Yeah, the colors on this are clean.
Eyes, or teal. You taught me teal today. Are they teal eyes?
It's got
that green is one of my favorite colors.
It does.
And that's light blue on its ears, right?
That would be the teal.
Oh,
the fur is a
teal
little more of a mint color. Mint is a little more green.
That's not really mint. I guess it is kind of mint. Like a brighter
or cyan,
mint.
Rather.
I like.
So maybe you're right. The tail is cyan. Oh, wait, sorry.
Yippee! You're too good. That was amazing. I could do things. Please don't terrorize my home. If I were a dinosaur, I would be a Foxosaurus. I love corny animal puns. Please continue for Fox's sake.
Well, from one fox to another, it's time to move to the last one of this series. If you don't know, the Zenko Ratatoska, you can get that from playing the adventure in 5.4, still part of the adventure bundle. Get this one, and if you get all 3, you get to unlock this beautiful one, the Final Fusion. Yes. It's the space theme one that we've been looking forward to. And we can see the abilities.
Oh, baby, we got the galaxy
theme.
All right.
I wouldn't say
yeller.
Exactly space.
I just see space in it. That's why.
I see galaxy, motherfucker.
Cosmic.
I said space because I don't say cosmic. That's too adult. I like space.
I like the color scheme is very satisfying.
Give me your best shot.
That spin's cool.
Yeah.
Acorn.
His effects are definitely different.
Yeah, those abilities are fucking sick.
He's a little more super powered.
Yeah.
That sound is really satisfying too.
Going up.
I still love that noise whenever he goes up though. Ding, ding, ding.
It's so pleasant and satisfying.
That is the sounds on these skins, bro.
You know when you do it defensively, do it again.
So
When he goes,
good.
Screw you guys. See, it's just perfect.
If I can only write that down.
You can save that for another voice pack. Don't worry. I'm helping you out there. Let's listen to this voice pack for this skip.
Hoorah! Hoorah! Fantastic! You've made your mark. I am the prince of all foxes. Your anger just makes me stronger. I love corny animal puns. Please continue for Fox's sake. My ultimate is the only ultimate you'll ever see.
Awesome. You'll be able to get that if you own all the other 3 rat skins that you get by playing the adventure. You get this one too.
Pretty cool concept they did with this. All the skins into one bigger skin.
What's next week? Well, what's in 2 weeks' time? You don't know? You're not going to leak. Okay, I understand.
I don't think we can leak.
No, you can't. I just tried to get you fired, that's all, by making you leak.
Oh, rude.
That's my plan. I'm sorry.
I can take another leak, though.
That's a bad plan.
Later. after the stream, not on stream, because this is PG-13.
For fuck's sake, Tina.
That's it for the Patch Note Show this week. I'm going to double check one thing for you. PTS should be live Friday is what I've got written down here. Patch should go live on the 13th of this month, and console, you're looking at the 20th of this month as well. For everyone at High Res, thank you for tuning into the Patch Notes. This is 5.4, and we'll see you all again when we return.